Hello and welcome back to Hustings 2011 Day 2. There goes my audition for Big Brother. You're coming live here from Student Central, the Union Mall, and of course live on Ram Air 1350am, ramair.co.uk. Purpose of Hustings is for you to hear from all the candidates standing in this year's elections and ask them the gruelling questions last week, including yesterday even included on pizza toppings, favourite type of currency, and of course the infamous jelly baby question. Only time will tell whether anything as exciting and controversial as that will appear on tonight's Hustings. But what we do have are two more positions to discuss before we go to another break and get on to the final sabbatical candidates for 2011. We're now going to go to the position of Women's Officer. Quick description of that role. The Women's Officer is responsible for representing students in matters relating to women, equality, liberation and diversity. She is a guaranteed women's full-time representation in the union. They support the Liberation part-time officers as well as supporting all sabbatical officers in the daily running of the union. Standing for the position of the Women's Officer are Manaza Kulsoom and Ron, good old reopened nominations, who seems to always hang around all the positions. So Manaza, if you'd like to come up to the front. As with all sabbatical positions, slightly different from part-time officers, they get 2-minute opening speech, they then get questions to all the candidates, and they then have a 1-minute closing speech. So as tradition dictates, Manaza, you have a 2-minute opening speech, and those 2 minutes start now.
Okay, I'm hoping as Women's Officer to increase the representation of women at the union, taking part in union politics, as well as generally just getting involved with the union, not just sabbatical roles, but in committees as well and other aspects. Also, I hope to encourage more female-only events. Hope to host some that are small as well as large. I've spoken to the existing Women's Officer as well as media ends, and it is feasible to have a women's club night, a women's-only event, and it won't be like F&D, but will be similar, but not necessarily part of F&D. Also, hoping to have expanding the role of the Women's Initiative, which is our forum basically we use to get women involved with women's issues, take part. It acts like a committee also to help organising events and promoting women's issues and fighting for charities that are local as well as causes. And also improving safety on campus. I've spoken to the existing Women's Officer as well as ethics, and it turns out there is feasible and there are plans already in place to have a pick-up point for the evenings and stuff, and just hopefully encouraging that level of safety as well. And we already have the safety student spot, and yeah, that's it, that 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, that was the opening speech there for Manaza Kulsoom, standing for Women's Officer. Also standing is Ron, reopen nominations. Right, we have some questions here for all candidates. Of course, just being Manaza for this one. If you've got any questions for the Women's Officer, please get them to Michael if you're down in Student Central, or email them through to studio@ramair.co.uk. You can also send them through for the following Environment and Welfare Officer candidates, and of course Sports and Societies Officer candidates, which will conclude tonight's and overall 2011 Hustings. Right, questions for the Women's Officer. Why did you go for this position and not any other? Manaza, if you could answer that, please.
Okay, I'm already working with the current Women's Officer, and I'm passionate about women's issues, and already have a lot of experience in the job, and I hope to promote the representation of women. I believe there's a lot of prejudices surrounding what people think they can do and what they can't do because of some of the roles in the university, or just generally the lack of awareness, and hope to improve that, encourage that. And also, at the moment, I have been working with the Women's Initiative, as well as getting involved with all the events. We will be taking part in Friday's Comic Relief fundraising. We'll be selling cakes and stuff. And then next week, it's on 25th, we have a Women's Day. We hope everyone can attend. It will start from probably 11 o'clock till 6 o'clock. We're going to have stalls as well as speakers in the evening. We're using the Student Lecture Theatre. So on the 25th, we're going to have that, and we're part of that, and we are organising that at the moment as well. And also, we're having on the 29th of March Hope for Justice gig. Hope for Justice is a trafficking awareness charity based in Bradford, and we're hoping to raise awareness of money for them, and that's taken us to the 29th, and we're hoping to get musicians to come and give their time. And so if you are a musician or you know people who will have time to come and basically perform for free, that would be great. So if you could contact Nancy or myself, because we need to get more people coming and taking part in the gig. And yeah, so that's why I'm already doing everything else. I just would like to have a more committed role and do more. Thanks.
Welcome to Hustings 2011, live from Student Central in Rammer, now incorporating a What's On guide. Right, next question for the candidates for the Women's Officer. Harassment of women in and around campus has become more common, especially on Great Horton Road. What would you do to tackle this problem?
There are already plans in place to make Great and Horton Road safer, so the current SABs are working with council, the Bradford Council, to have less traffic going up and down to stop all the boy racers and also traffic that doesn't need to be there. So there are plans in place to limit the amount of harassment that will take place, because normally it is people racing passing cars and stuff. So we'll limit that kind of safety, and that will increase the safety of campus as well, and of that area in particular. And also we hope to encourage you to promote that. And also, I spoke already about the idea of having a pick-up point, a designated, well-lit pick-up point on campus on Great Horton Road. So there's that as well. It's already taking place. I hope to encourage it and make sure it gets done, and we follow through. Is that it? Yeah, cool.
Okay, are you finished?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, you're listening to questions to candidates for the position of Women's Officer. If you've got any questions for the candidates, please get them to Michael by the end of the next answer, or you can email them to studio@ramair.co.uk, which we're going to go and check now to make sure there's nothing filling our inbox. So the next question for Women's Officer: what legacy do you hope to leave after your term in office?
Legacy. Like Mandela or something. As long as I hope my work will speak for itself, people don't need to necessarily remember me, just as long as the changes we've implemented and the work we have stays and continues after I've gone, that will speak for itself.
Okay, and while we check Rameh, we have one final question, unless anyone's got anything else to add to Michael. No. What makes you a good candidate? And this is the general question aimed at everybody. What makes you a good candidate?
I already have a wealth of experience working with the current Women's Officer, taking part in the Women's Initiative. Activities room, 5 o'clock every Tuesday. If you're a woman and want to get involved, you should attend and take part. We always need volunteers to take part in our events, help us organise. So 5 o'clock, activities room, every Tuesday you should come. And also I'm also involved and working with Nancy at the moment and promoting the up-and-coming Women's Day on the 25th. So we're hopefully going to have a really good poster campaign, as well as effective day of raising awareness and getting women to take part in causes, organisations and events. Thank you.
Okay, that's all the questions for the candidates for Women's Officer. We're now going to go to the summation speech, which, as with all sabbatical positions, is 1 minute long. Your 1 minute summation speech, Manaza, starts now.
Okay, hopefully I would like to encourage people, first of all, to vote full stop. And never mind who you vote for me, obviously, because I'm not running against anyone. I'm very qualified. But also, I would like to encourage people to vote full stop. If you have friends who don't normally vote in elections, I would hopefully encourage you to get them to vote. And I'm thinking for every person who votes, get 10 people who don't normally vote to take part, increase the voting electorate of the university. Finally, I'd like to say I hope you take part, and everyone here today continues to take an interest in union politics and the issues we have going on in terms of causes, charities, events and student politics. Thank you very much.
Okay, there you go. You've heard the summation speech there from candidate Manaza Kulsoom. That was the opening speeches, questions and answers, and closing speeches for the Women's Officer position. Standing for that are Manaza Kulsoom and Ron reopen nominations. Don't forget you can vote from midnight tonight via ubuonline.co.uk/elections. You can also find there all the information, such as the notice of poll, the manifesto booklets, the YouTube videos, and of course check out your candidates on Facebook, where you can talk to them directly, ask them the questions you want to know about. You can also listen back to all the podcasts from Hustings yesterday for the other 3 sabbatical and 2 part-time positions, and all the hustings of this evening will also be available online as soon as I've got the computer to do what it should do and get those loaded up onto YouTube for you. Hopefully I won't get distracted by any of the videos on there. I will get that work done, promise.